welcome to another CRaFTi video. In today's one I'm looking at the fantastic LOKLiK cutting machine. It's one of these electronic cutting machines that has the mats that go in and out, and you put your substrate on there and then you can use different blades to cut into it. Plus this one also has a pen holder so you can draw things as well. It's also got the capabilities of doing print and cut too, so you can design something in the design space, print it out with your printer, put it onto your mat and cut it out directly as well. So it's a really versatile machine. You have the gorgeous design space in here as well, and it works on Apple and Android. You can have it on your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your desktop, however you like to work. And you can also connect your machine via Bluetooth, or you can use the cable to connect it to your computer as well, whichever works better for what you're doing. I think if you're calibrating the machine you have to be connected by the wire, but for other bits and pieces when you're cutting you can connect wirelessly with Bluetooth, which I think is fantastic. You can use 12 by 12 mats, or it also says on here 12 by 24, so I'm presuming that they either have or will be bringing out 12 by 24 mats, or possibly other manufacturers' mats of that size might work in here as well. And the lovely people at LOKLiK kindly sent me this machine to be able to do a video with for you, and they also sent me the starter bundle as well, which has got some heat transfer vinyl, some permanent vinyl, some transfer tape and a whole like weeding tool set as well. So I'll be unboxing that too. I've not actually played with any of this yet. I wanted to show you everything in the box, and you may be thinking, why am I so zoomed in on this? This is as far out as my camera will zoom out, and this box is enormous. I can't even push it all the way that way to show you the edge of it, but it's not too much further from the screen, and it's an enormous box. So I'm going to get all of this out, start setting it up on my desk, and then I've been playing in the design space whilst I was waiting for the machine to arrive. I was playing and designing a few bits and pieces, so I want to have a go with permanent transfer vinyl onto an old water bottle. I got one of these water bottles, I've been using it for ages, I have a few of them, and this one, all of the hearts were coming off of it, so I used a little bit of alcohol to try and get the rest of the hearts off. There's a little bit left on here too, but I think it'll work for what I want to put on here as a design, and I thought we would experiment with this. And then that LOKLiK also very kindly sent me as well the mini heat press, which is for transferring your heat transfer vinyl. So I think I might cut the design in this video with the heat transfer vinyl, but then do a whole separate video on the LOKLiK mini heat press. And the main reason I actually wanted this is to do some cool ideas with hot foiling for our card making and using embossing powders as well. But for my little video like unboxing this and showing it off, I'm actually going to try and put some heat transfer vinyl onto one of Pumpkin's little hoodies. I think she has grown out of this one now, and the pink never looks quite as good on her because it's a little bit see-through and you can see her black spots through it. But I'm going to try and put some kind of transfer onto the back of a hoodie and see if it works in my up-close video of this, so stay tuned for that one as well. But for this video, let's get on with unboxing the machine. I'll try and film it. I might have to cut the footage out because I'm not sure how it's gonna look, or you know, like if you'll be able to see in the box because it's such an enormous box. But let's try and open it up. So it opens this way. Oh, and the outside of the box shows the blue machine, which is their LOKLiK blue, their like branding sort of blue colour. I've got the white one, but I'm pretty sure they also do a pink one and a denim blue coloured one as well. So there are different colours to pick from. So instantly inside the box you can see, oh, they actually give you a piece of, I forgot this, they give you a piece of, I think this is heat transfer vinyl with their gorgeous LOKLiK logo on it, which is really cool. So I could make Pumpkin a LOKLiK branded hoodie with a little logo of this on it, and you get one of the standard grip mats in with the machine. So the standard grip mat is the green one, and it's designed for mostly your vinyl, cardstock, patterned paper and embossed card, so sort of like more textured kind of cardstocks. That's what the grip is sort of designed for, but I'm sure you can use it for other bits and pieces as well, but they do different ones which are in the starter bundle, so I'll show you those as well. But that is the standard mat. Then we've got this envelope which has the gorgeous LOKLiK logo on there. And then, what have we got inside here? Okay, so in the little envelope you get a lovely little quote from LOKLiK themselves. Oh, that's really cool. That's got like a glossy finish on it, that one. Just saying about LOKLiK, the company. Then we've also got our machine warranty. So this, you're going to keep this safe with your machine, and you have a 1-year warranty on this from the date of purchase, and it tells you all about the machine maintenance and everything on here. Then we have the quick installation guide as well. Oh yeah, and it's telling you how to cut the vinyl that they provide in here as well. It shows you how to put the blade inside the housing, where the cables go into it, how to open it, how to put the blade and the pen holder into it, how to turn it on and everything, and load your mat in. So really good quick start sort of guide instructions on there, which is brilliant because we will be needing those. And then we also have the product manual as well. So, oh, this is really good. It lists with numbers everything that is on the machine. So it tells you sort of how the lid keeps shut, where the power goes in, where the USB goes in. Oh, slot for mobile device. I didn't know that was on there. Well, that's cool then. So if you're working on a mobile device, it looks like you can rest it on the lid so you can see it in front of you whilst you're cutting things. That's cool. You've got the mat slots. You've got a storage space in here as well, which is nice, and you have a storage space on the top to keep all of your little weeding tools and things. And it tells you everything that is included in the box. So you get the machine, you get the blade housing, you get the fine point blade, which has a 45-degree angle to it. Or you get 2 of them, and you get 2 deep point blades which have a 60-degree angle. So it's the angle at which like the sharp bit of the blade is at, and being at a higher angle means it can cut through thicker materials, hence why it's called the deep point blade. Then you also get the pen housing, which is for LOKLiK and HTV Ront pens, and LOKLiK is actually a sister company to HTV Ront, if you've ever heard of that company before. They do a lot of heat transfer vinyl, hence the name HTV, that stands for heat transfer vinyl. And you get a pen in there as well. You get the USB cable, you get an adapter, you get your standard cutting mat, which we've already seen. We get the sample of the PU heat transfer vinyl, so it is heat transfer, that one. And then this was all in the user guide envelope, and yeah, it says 10,000 plus free online designs. In the design software there's actually over 12,000 designs, and I found it really useful to have the app on my phone and on my laptop, because you can use the software, I think, well, for me, better on the laptop to design what you want to do. But the great thing about having it on your phone as well is you can be sitting watching the telly, scrolling through those 12,000 designs, and you can favourite them, and then all of the ones that you've sort of come across and think, oh, I've got a project idea for that, or I like that for something in the future, it's my favourite shape, or, you know, it'll all be saved in your favourites. So it's kind of easier or nicer to sort of sit on your phone doing that rather than doing that on your laptop. So it's quite nice that you can have the software in 2 different places, or on a tablet, or whatever, however you kind of work. So I reckon the rest of this is just going through installation, the blades, how to put them into the holder, what the buttons on the machine mean as well. And I would presume, yeah, we've got it in different languages as well. So it looks like you get French in here too, Spanish, Italian, Dutch, I think. I think DE stands for Dutch. And that's it. So we've got a lovely little product manual telling you how to use it, and then to get the machine out. And I've got to try and not knock over my coffee trying to get the machine out of the box. Okay, got the machine out of the box. So underneath the machine there is other sections with all of the other bits and pieces in. So we've got our power adapter, so we can plug this straight in and then plug it into the side of the machine to give it power. Then for anything where you need it to be hardwired, maybe your Bluetooth isn't working, maybe your laptop doesn't have Bluetooth, or your desktop doesn't have Bluetooth and you need to attach it via a wire, or if you're going to do the calibration for setting up the print and cut, you can actually use this. This part goes into the machine, and then your standard USB goes into your laptop or your computer. So if you have a Mac or something, you might need an adapter, because I'm not sure they come with these USBs on them anymore. It might be a USB-C. So you might need an adapter if you have a computer that doesn't have normal USB slots anymore. Then you also get the pen. So I presume this is a lovely black pen. Really nice. Oh, it's got a fine point and a brush as well. Oh wow. So you've got a brush end to the pen and a fine end to the pen. That's really nice. And I presume it can draw with both ends. So that could give different results if you did the same image using the brush end versus the fine end. And then we have our little blades in here, and I presume you've got the blade housing and the pen housing in here as well. Yes, we've got silica gel. Okay, so we've got, I think the red is the normal cutting blade, and then the blue is the deep 60-degree cutting blade. And then we have the little blade housing, which I'm pretty certain you just take the cap off of the sharp end of the blade and you just put it inside there, and it has a magnet inside to hold it into position. And then we also have the pen housing as well, which goes into the slot, and you can use this to put the pen in. I wonder if you have to put it up different ways for the, you know, for the thin end or the thicker end, or whether it just, I reckon it might just stay in the right position. They've obviously designed their pen. Yeah, I'm guessing that's why the pen is tapered. So it's narrower towards the narrow end, because that needs to be closer to your cardstock to be able to draw. Whereas with the brush end, they've made the barrel of it wider because it won't need to be as close, I'm presuming. Unless you can't do it with the brush end. Maybe you can only do it with the... That's interesting. Maybe you can only do it with the narrow end then. I was thinking that was clever the way they've tapered it, but that doesn't seem to actually fit inside there, which is interesting. So we can experiment with that at some point as well with the pen and see how that works. It probably tells you in the instructions, but you know me, I don't like to read instructions. So those are all of our little blades, and then we have the actual machine as well. And she fits nicely into the frame. She's still a little bit bigger than my frame of my camera, but so I got the gorgeous white one, and it comes with a little bit of tape on here just to hold the door shut, so we can remove this. There we go. That comes off really nicely as well. Oh, that's not really tape actually, it's just kind of like something clingy. It just sort of clings onto it, so it's not actually proper tape, which is good. You won't get any adhesive residue on here. And then we just lift this up, I think. Yes, and it opens. Oh, it does have a ridge on here. Oh, that's really cool. I did not know that. So you can actually have your phone on there. If you're working from your phone via Bluetooth, you can actually just put your phone there and, you know, have it ready. Because I think you have to, there is a start button on the machine, but I think maybe it's better if you start it from the software, because this is one of those machines where you have to have another piece of technology with it for it to work. So some machines you can do everything on a little screen on the machine, or you have like cartridges to pick from, but this is one of those cutting machines where you have to have something to use the software to get your designs onto, so whether that is a phone, a tablet or a computer. So this is really nice. You've got the cardboard in here, which is just keeping everything in position, in transit. Oh, it's really nice. It looks so modern and sleek as well. Oh, and you've got a P and a B on the holders down here. So B is for blade and P is for pen. It also tells you do not move this tool holder by hand. So when you turn it on, it will move to the middle and you can put those two in. And then in the side of it, in here actually, let's show you this bit first. In here, we have got our lovely section here to be able to store our extra blades, obviously not in this plastic, but you can put your pen in there, you can put the extra blades in there. We've also got the accessories in the other bundle, which I'll get to in a second as well. So you can store all of those bits and pieces inside here, which is really nice. And then when you're working, you can have them all in this little holder on the side. So you've got a deeper section, and it's actually got segments in there, so they're not all going to fall over. You can actually prop them up nicely. And I think in the extra bundle you have like a scraper tool, so that will sit really nicely in that shallower section as well. And then I'll show you which end. Yeah, this end where the buttons are is where the wires go in. So if you're thinking about getting this machine, you'll kind of know where it is. Where if you put this in your craft room, you'll kind of know which side you kind of need your plug to be coming from. Okay, so before we set up the machine, let's have a look through the starter bundle as well. So on top of this bundle we have 3 mats, so you get another one of the standard grip, which is the green mat, and then in here as well you're also getting the purple mat, and then in the middle there is a blue mat. The blue mat is the light grip mat, and I presume it would say it on there as well because the green one says standard grip on there, and the blue mat is more for printer paper, thin card, vellum. And then the purple mat, which is the strong grip mat, is more for specialty cards, you know, like mirror card and stuff, glitter card, leather, chipboard and fabric with stiffener as well. And I'm also wondering if we can cut some mylar with this too and make some stencils, which I think would be really cool. And in this little bundle with the spare mats in, we're also getting a scraper as well. So this is great for scraping all of those excess bits off of your mat if you're using things like card and stuff. If you're using vinyl, I've never actually cut vinyl on a electronic machine before, but from my understanding is the vinyl is still on plastic, so you'll never have to like scrape off bits of vinyl off of your mat. It'll be more like cardstock and stuff. The vinyl should be on a plastic kind of carrier sheet. I think that's my understanding of it, or you know, either a paper carrier sheet or something. So this is more for when you've been cutting directly onto the mat rather than something that has a plastic backing onto it. So we've got those mats in the starter bundle, and we've got the scraper. Then we have some heat transfer vinyl, and the rolls are 12 inches long, and you're actually getting 6 feet. So that's technically 6 12 by 12 sheets in a roll of black vinyl, black heat transfer vinyl. So this is what I'm going to try and do like a decal on the back of Pumpkin's old pink hoodie to see how well it adheres to fabric, just because I've never tried it before, and we'll be doing that in my video using the mini heat press, but I might cut it in this video, but we'll actually put it onto the hoodie in the next video that I do. So that is the LOKLiK heat transfer vinyl, and it says, oh, it's machine washable. I was wondering that. It says easy to apply, excellent durability and machine washable. So that's really good to know, because I was thinking you'd have to hand wash stuff if you've put vinyl on it, but machine washable, I presume inside out and on a low heat, but machine washable. Then we've also got in this starter bundle a roll of gold permanent adhesive vinyl, and it's again 12 inches long and 6 feet in length, so technically 6 12 by 12 sheets worth of vinyl, and this is what I'm going to decorate the bottle with, and I'm going to do that in this video. I want to cut out a pattern with a load of monstera leaves, surprise surprise, because in the sort of 12,000 images that you get on the design software, there's quite a few different monstera leaves. So I've created a design that I'm hoping I'll be able to get to transfer onto the bottle. I've never done it before, but we're going to give it a go and see how easy it is. And with this, it says water resistant, so perfect for putting on bottles, strong adhesion, and it has the clear backing. So I'm presuming with permanent adhesive vinyl, you cut it, you weed it all out, but it's still on the plastic backing, but you're looking at the pretty side of it, but you want the adhesive side of it to be showing, to be able to stick it onto the bottle. So also in this bundle you get the grid transfer tape, which you then put on top of your die cut design from a permanent adhesive, and you pick it up on the transfer tape, and then you can transfer it to a bottle. That's what I'm thinking. Probably some of you who are watching are, you know, seasoned users of vinyl, but I've never actually used it before. So that's what I'm thinking is how it works. And this roll is also 12 inches long, but this is actually 10 feet wide. So you're basically getting 10 12 by 12 sheets worth of transfer tape. And I'm pretty certain you can use this over and over again. And it says easy to use, strong stickiness and precise alignment, because it's got grid on here as well. So if you had a pattern or a design that had wording on there, and perhaps you were putting it onto a bottle or a mug or something, you could align like a straight line with the bottom or the top of it to get it to be exactly horizontal around the design. I think I did put the word water in my design, but it's at an angle, so it won't really matter for the transferring for my bottle, I don't think, anyway. So those are the 3 rolls that we're getting. And then finally in this starter bundle we also have weeding tools as well for picking out all of those bits of vinyl or cardstock. So I'll just move the box off to one side, which is a really nice box actually. This would be great for storing scrapbook paper in. So inside this little box we have got this little scraper. So you've got a sort of more compact one compared to this, but you've got 2 different versions of scrapers, which is really nice. So you've got a slightly more flexible one, I'd say, and then a more rigid one for scraping any bits and pieces that are left on your mats, or possibly like picking up the corner if you you know, can't get hold of the corner of it. You could like put this underneath to pick it up. So I'm going to put both of those in there. It does fit really nicely, that little scraper. Nice little height for that. Then we have also got, they come in 2 parts I think, just to make it easier for transit. And look, you've got the gorgeous little LOKLiK logo on here, and you can just twist these together and you get like an angled pokey tool or weeding tool, which has got a really fine point on it. Look how fine that is for picking out tiny little details, like the tiny little bit in the centre of an E or an O or something. It'll be really helpful for that. And you have the protective cover on there, and actually the protective cover inside is actually the same shape as the end of the weeding tools. That's really nice. It means it's going to stay on really well. So you've got this gorgeous one, and you have a hole in the bottom if depending on how you like to work. If you don't want them to be here, you don't want to store them inside the lip of the machine, you could hang these somewhere as well. You could put a bit of baker's twine through it and hang them. Then you have the straight sort of weeding tool as well. So screw this together. It's a gorgeous colour as well, this. Really pretty. And then you have the straight sort of weeding tool, which is again really sharp. So you could even use this for like paper piercing and stuff, you know, like going through one of those rulers that has the tiny holes in it. It's a really fine point. So really nice, that. And again, it has the shape of it inside the actual cover, so it's going to stay on really nicely as well, and mean that you're not going to impale yourself when it's poking out of your pot. And again, you've got the little hole on the bottom, so you can put some twine on there and hang it up, or it fits perfectly in here. And if I move that over slightly, I don't know if you can actually see them standing separately, but you can actually, if I take that out, you can put them in their separate compartments and they don't all fall over to one side. So you could pick this one out and this one still stays up, which is really nice. I like that they've added that into the bottom, just the little bit of moulding in the bottom of that, so that you can actually just put them wherever you want to in there. It doesn't quite fit that scraper in, but it still sits in there nicely. It's just the end of the scraper is a little bit too wide for the moulding in the bottom. And then you have this, which, if I'm right in thinking, you kind of have it on your hand, and as you're like weeding bits out, you like scrape your tool into it to get them off, because you know with vinyl they'll be sticky. So I think the idea is you pick a piece up and then you can take it off like that, so you're not like putting it all over your hand or, you know, getting it stuck everywhere you don't want it to be. So that's a pretty cool gadget that I reckon that might be useful for crafting as well, like general paper crafting. It might be good for taking the backing off of your double-sided tape and you could just push it inside there. Might be a cool way of using it too. So that is everything that comes with the machine, but I thought I'd also show you to see how much you can fit inside this compartment. I'll open that up as well actually so it's lighter for you. But you've got this kind of section. It's got magnets on here to keep it shut when you put it up to close the machine. But you've got a gorgeous large section this side and an even bigger section this side, and I think that you can put all of these in here. Oh no, actually they're a little bit too wide. A little bit too wide with that top portion on here. It's a bit too wide, but you definitely can put your pens in there. The scraper would go in there nicely, and this scraper would also go in there as well, but those weeding tools are a little bit too chunky to go inside there. But I think as well, possibly, no, that's going to be too tall. I don't think you'd really want to put your blade holder in there anyway, because you're going to be using it all the time, but it might just about fit in there if you did for any reason want to put it in there. That's really nice quality actually. You can tell that's solid metal because it's cold. And then you have all of your little blades. I think what I might do is put these into one of these. A little grip seal sort of bag, and then stick that inside here so that I'm not going to lose the rest of those blades. So I think I'm going to go with one of the red blades. So I'm going to put both blue blades and one of the red blades in this little bag. And then I'm going to put that there and get a little bit of tape and seal that inside, just so that they're nice and safe in there and they're not going to roll around and I'm not going to lose them for when I need them. And I'll put these back in here. The pen will also fit really nicely in that side section as well. And then I'll close this up, and I'm going to plug this in and we'll get it going. We'll move the carriage over and put these in and get cracking with our first project. I've plugged it in, so let's hold down the button. And these are actually silicone buttons. I thought they would just be plastic. They're actually lovely soft grip like silicone buttons. So you have to press and hold the on button, and the carriage should move. Oh, the roller's going round. There we go. Okay, I think it's ready. So I'm going to put the pen holder in there. So I just undone that little catch, I've just pulled it round. Because the pen holder doesn't fit inside this tray, I don't want to lose it. So I don't think there's any harm in keeping it in there, even if we're not going to be using it, you know, for this project. And then I just want to push that back and it's locked into place. And then with the blade, obviously I need to put the blade inside it. So you've got the blade holder like this. The blade is going to go into that hole there. And this is what the blade looks like, but this is actually the end that's going to go into the blade holder. So this is actually our little blade. Look how tiny it is. That's so cute. Wow. Okay, so I'm pretty sure you press the little pip up at the bottom and then drop it in and it will pull it inside. And then you can just see a tiny little bit of that blade poking out of the bottom. And then we can put that into position. I don't know if it matters. I presume the machine turns the blade, so I don't think it matters which way round the blade is in when you put that into the holder. And then we can press that in. So it needs a little bit of force to close those, but they're relatively easy to close. You don't feel like you're going to break it by pressing them in. And we can discard this now, unless we want to keep this for future, you know, putting any of these back in. So I'm guessing the next thing to do is pick our vinyl, put it on a mat and try and cut it out. Okay, so now we've got that all set up, I've gone over to my laptop, which hopefully you're seeing on screen now because I'm trying to do a screen recording, and I've designed this monstera kind of design for my water bottle. I've just taken lots of the different monstera images from the actual free images that you get with the LOKLiK app. I've put little dots in there which you can draw with the shape tool, as well. Where was the shape tool? I think it is this one. You can hold down and you can draw. If you hold the shift key when you draw an oval, you'll get a perfect circle. You can do different sided shapes and you can do rectangles and lines as well. And I just basically created my own sort of design. I measured my water bottle and it's roughly 8 inches by 8 inches. So I've just sort of designed in that kind of an area of space. And then I think what I'm going to do is just cut it out of the gold vinyl. So I'll switch back to non-screen recording and we can add our vinyl to our mat. So I'll move the machine off to the side so that we can put our standard grip mat that came with the machine onto our desk, and then I'm going to take out the permanent adhesive vinyl, and I know that I want a roughly sort of 8 inch by 8 inch kind of piece, so I'm probably going to go to 9 inches just to be on the safe side, and then I can always move the design down a little bit so it's not quite so close to the edge as well. So let's open our roll of permanent gold vinyl. Oh, beautiful gold colour. It's got a little bit of tape securing it. So I can save that because I might put that back on. And then I just want to roll out a piece. So obviously this is going to be 12 inches in length. So I'm guessing if we just go 12 inches this way and then cut a piece that is more like 8 inches from the roll, because we can always use scraps of this for different things. You could die cut the scraps, you could place them in a specific position on the mat and be able to cut something else from them as well. So if we lay this down and if I line that up straightish, I can then come across at roughly 9 inches just to make sure I've got plenty. There we go. And then I'm going to roll this back up nice and tightly and put that little bit of tape back on there because that wasn't affecting the foil at all, so that's good. Okay, then we can keep that there. Then with the permanent vinyl, you want to put it on so you can see the pretty colour. I think with the heat transfer vinyl you actually put it on backwards because of the way it kind of works. So we want to take off the protective cover on our sticky mat, which you're going to want to keep because you're going to want to put that back on so that you don't get dust and dog hairs or cat hairs or everything all over it. And then you're going to want to take your gorgeous gold foil, or vinyl even, and line this up along the top of the mat. So if it wasn't curling so much it would be easier. So if we put that in the top corner there, run it all the way along, try and get it to be straight. Well, that does grip nicely. That is definitely not going to go anywhere when it's cutting. Perhaps if I roll it the opposite way it might be easier. So if I try and roll it up short ways and then get the short side on first perhaps, or maybe hold it like that. Hold it like that. That looks good. Okay, so we're going to go like that. Pressing it down as we go. And you can see here it's good to have the excess because if it's not quite straight along the top, then you should have plenty of excess for your whole pattern to still be cut, which is good. And we want to smooth this down as much as we can so that when it cuts we'll get a lovely smooth cut and you're not like going to cut through an air bubble that might sort of distort the design. And I'm sure you can use those scraping tools for that, but as I've never done it before I don't want to ruin it before I've even decided to cut something. But I'm sure you can use brayers and things as well if you've got like a brand new clean soft brayer. I think that would work really nicely too, and I've already got some of my hoodie fluff stuck onto the mat as well. So that is our gorgeous gold permanent adhesive vinyl on there. Let's bring the machine back in, put it back into position, and I might have to put it towards the front here so that, actually I'll keep moving it to show you what I'm going to do. So we want to first load the mat into the machine, So you have these little guides here, which is really nice, and then it will slot underneath those two little slots on the side. And then you press, oh, you can't even see, it's off screen. Okay, then you press this arrow here. So that's the on button, the pause button, the load mat, and then the play button. So we'll press the load button and hopefully it will load the mat in. Okay, there we go, it's loaded. Then we're going to go back to our screen recording. And I've just realised on the mat, we could have put it into the opposite corner and it would have been centimetres on the mat because I've made it centimetres on the screen. So I'm pretty sure you press the right hand button of the mouse and you can change that back to inches. So now we can see it's about 7.5 inches by 8 and little bit inches. So just to make sure these edge bits of the design definitely get cut, I know we've got excess on the mat, so I'm going to select everything by dragging a box over it, and I'm just going to nudge it over a little bit and down a little bit just to make sure it's going to be definitely in the cut area and everything is going to get cut. Then we're going to have to go up here to connect our device. So we want to do our standard cut, we want to connect via Bluetooth and press the Bluetooth button and hopefully it will find the machine. There we go, LOKLiK CRaFTi, it's found it. And then I have tons of different shapes on here to create this design. You can see all of the different ones as I scroll down. And then the brand is LOKLiK. The material that we're using is basic permanent adhesive vinyl. And the great thing about this program is it sets all of the parameters for you. You don't have to worry about the speed, the force or anything, and it tells you that you want the blade in there rather than the pen, and it's going to go through it once to get it to cut. And it's also reminding you here as well, if you're using heat transfer vinyl, you need to mirror your image. Because of the way you put the vinyl on the mat, you have to mirror it. So when we get to doing the cut for Pumpkin's hoodie, then we will need to mirror the image, and you have the ability to do that here, which is really nice. So I think all that's left to do now is press cut, and hopefully it will cut out our gorgeous monstera leaf design. So I'm going to move the machine forwards a bit and move myself back so that there's enough room for the mat to go out the other side of the machine, and then we'll press cut. Oh, it says no layer selected, so I need to go up here and select every single layer. There we go. Now we can press cut. And then we will press start. It's so quiet. I'll move it back into shot a little bit more for you so you can see it cutting. But how quiet is that? So quiet. If you were watching telly whilst you were doing it, you could easily still hear the telly. That is amazing. So talk about putting it through its paces. That took about 10 minutes for all of the different sections to cut, but the first cut on this machine, and look how intricate I made it. It's got the word water in there. You've got really intricate monstera leaves, solid ones, slightly less intricate. So I'll move the machine out of the way and let's see how we can weed this design. Okay, so here we've got our cut out design, and I don't want to get all of my fluff from my hoodie or dog hairs onto this mat, so I'm going to peel up the corner of the whole thing first. That plan was not working, so I've got some, you know, like paper from the back of some stickers. So I'm going to put that over there and hope that, that doesn't stick, no. Just so that I don't get fibres all over the rest of the mat. I was going to save this bit, but I don't know, maybe I can cut it with a knife and not go through to the mat, just get through the vinyl and the backing so that I can save it. Didn't go far enough. Ooh, missed it. Ooh. Okay. It still hasn't gone through enough. Okay, apparently that has not gone through enough, so I'm going to lift it up as much as I can. And where are my scissors? Okay, I just didn't want to waste that bit from weeding it, so I'll leave that to one side. I'll get another piece of this sticker paper to put along there so we don't get anything stuck to the mat. Just because it's a brand new mat, I just don't want to, the first time using it, get it covered in all sorts of stuff. So I think the best idea is to weed it on the mat. I think it's just because I picked such an intricate design, it just is going to be better to take the vinyl off whilst it's still in position. So so well cut. Look how easily it weeds. That is crazy. Look at that. That is just insane. The only reason why anything is getting stuck is just because it's a really intricate design. Wow. That is brilliant. That cuts so well. And I had managed to cut through the vinyl because it did that. Okay. I just realised I did lose one dot there, but anyway, it's fine. It's just a random extra thing to sort of add into the design. So all I need to do now is go through with this very sharp tool and pick out the tiny little pieces and put this on my finger, and then I can put them inside there. That is so handy. So handy. In that starter bundle are an absolute godsend. I think it would have taken me even longer to weed out those tiny little dots in all the monstera leaves if I didn't have this and these gorgeous sharp tools. So they are absolutely fantastic. If you can get the starter bundle with your machine, that is brilliant. That is so useful. So now we have weeded the whole thing. It might come off the mat easier now we've taken the excess off, but I don't want to risk it. So we're going to go straight in with the transfer tape. So we've got our lovely roll of 10 feet of transfer tape, which I'm pretty sure is reusable. So you can keep this piece, cut it the size of the water bottle, and then, you know, use it for quite a few different water bottle designs if you wanted to. So I'm going to take the tape off of the roll. and then cut a piece that is going to work for the size of our design. So if I roll this out like so, and yeah, I think that will be enough there. So if we cut along just by this line, I think that should be plenty. And we don't have to waste the transfer tape either, because we can lie that down, double check that that's going to fit nicely over the design, see where the bottom of the design goes, and then we can chop this little piece off as well. Okay, so we shall save this, put that back around the roll, put that tape back on to keep it nice and secure in position, and then I presume the transfer tape, you take off the backing and you stick it over the top and then press it onto this really firmly, and then you can pick up all of the vinyl. So let's go one side first. This is really cool that it's got all of those grid lines on it, so that if you have a design where it needs to stay really straight, you can use those grids to help line it up for you, which is brilliant. Perfect. And then we can keep that actually. This is basically, this backing piece is basically what I've put on here to protect the mat. So if you keep pieces like this, you can use that to protect your mat whilst you're weeding. And then I'm presuming this is possibly the tool that you can get a good firm pressure onto the transfer tape to pick up all of the vinyl really nicely. There's so many intricate pieces in here. I cannot believe how well that this machine cut those tiny details out of these monstera leaves, because I didn't actually check. I mean, I presume it would tell me if I'd made something too small that it wouldn't be able to cut the detail, but I didn't actually check if, you know, that was fine for me to shrink the design down from the size that it was when I took it from the library. So I am so impressed with how well this has cut the fine details on here. And I mean, this is the first thing that I have cut with it, and I decided to make it an extremely complicated, full of monstera leaves, massive 8x8 kind of sized piece. So I'm so impressed with it. And I'm really impressed with the vinyl as well, because I've never used vinyl before. And I think it's fantastic how easy it was to pull away the backing to reveal the majority of the design, and then mainly the only bits I was picking out were all the landlocked areas, like these tiny skinny pieces in some of the monsteras, and also the tiny little dots or holes that cut out of the leaves as well. So I think that that is all nicely adhered to the transfer tape, and then I presume we just peel it off and it picks up all of the vinyl. That is so clever. Oh, missed a spot. Oh, missing that E. You can kind of see, it's kind of like rub-ons. You know when you rub a rub-on onto your project, you can kind of see the backing change colour. You can kind of tell that the gold looks a slightly different colour if it's not quite adhered onto the backing tape as well as it should be. So it might be the angle that I'm pulling that up at that's it's struggling with. Nope, that's stuck. And missing another little spot there. That bit was struggling as well. Oh, this is amazing. I'm going to be like decorating everything with vinyl now. And I picked a font that had thick and thin details in it as well, just to see how well different fonts would cut. Instead of having to have different words, I just went with one word and a font that had lots of different thicknesses in it. Fantastic. So we've now got our whole design for our water bottle onto this piece of transfer tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this backing piece off here and put the protective sheet back onto the mat, and then I'll come back to apply that to my bottle. I should also point out on the mat, in the design space you can change your virtual mat into inches or centimetres, and if you go for the side that's got the hole in, it's inches, but what I didn't notice when I was sticking my vinyl on, if you go for the opposite side, it's in centimetres. So however you set up your mat in your design space, you can actually have it the same as your mat in real life, which is nice. So you can, if you prefer centimetres over inches or inches over centimetres, then you can play around with it, which is really cool. So I want to transfer that monstera design onto this bottle, which did have rainbow hearts on it, but they were starting to come off. So I was trying to get the rest of it off with alcohol. In the UK, I don't think we can get anything more than 70%. It was kind of working. It took quite a bit of elbow grease to get the last few bits off, so there are tiny little bits left on there. But I think it's going to be good enough for our first attempt at ever putting vinyl onto something. So let's give it a go, really. I presume all you have to do, I've got a little bit of scrap on there, so I want to take that off. But I presume all you have to do is just flip this over and put it around the bottle. But let's just double check. Let's see how good my maths was, because I put half, there's one design of this monstera leaf that's actually in 2 halves, and I put 1 half here and 1 half here in the hope that I might have been clever enough to line it up and it would match on the other side. I don't know if it will. There's a possibility. I don't want to mess around with it too much and mess up the vinyl on here, but there's a possibility that it might have worked. So I think the best thing to do is to start on one side of this, and to stop any accidents happening, I'm going to take the release paper that was on this transfer tape, and I'm going to put it back on and fold that end over and then start with one end of it. I think that's going to be the best way to go. So we do have straight lines on this, so we can follow the straight lines. It does go a tiny bit wonky up there, so we can take that into consideration, but let's go and put the first bit down. So we're going to press it nice and firmly as we go, so that hopefully we don't get any bubbles in it, and it will all just follow the curve of the bottle really nicely. And as I say, I've never done this before, so I'm hoping this is the right way to do it. I think it is. I think vinyl is pretty intuitive of how you kind of work with it and transfer it onto things. So hopefully I'm doing this correctly. But if I don't, then we will figure it out together. And I think, oh no, okay, the design doesn't go too much further down. I was thinking maybe it's going to get too close to the bottom of the bottle, so it might be a little bit wonky on here, but I don't mind. It's better than all of the hearts that were rubbing off of it to have some gorgeous monstera leaves, because I do love monstera leaves. So I'm going to keep rubbing as we go around the bottle. And I can take the lid off as well, actually, so that it's sitting flat on the table. I think gold and pink go nicely together because the lid of this one is pink. And I'm presuming, because this is water resistant, that you could possibly put it on mugs as well, as long as you hand wash them. Oh, that is almost perfect, actually, that design. Look at that! It's got a massive gap down the middle, but it's almost lining up. That is so cool that it's actually possible to do that. The way I did that was there's 2 halves in that design, and you can select just 1 half, and I just used the arrow key to shift it all the way across to the other side of the canvas, so that it would stay in the perfect up and down alignment. So it's supposed to only have a tiny little millimetre gap between the design, but it's got a little bit of a wider gap, but I think that still looks pretty good. I don't think anybody would really tell that that's where the join is. I think I did a pretty good job of doing that. The first time I've ever designed anything to go on a bottle. That's pretty good. Okay, so let's just make sure this is nicely pressed on. We could maybe use this to give it a really good press down. Okay, let's try taking off the transfer tape and see what happens. Oh, it's staying on. Oh, no, that bit's got a little bit stuck. Oh, that's because it's on top of the other piece of transfer tape. I see. So let's lift that back up on... That's not going to work. I see what's happened there. I should have made the transfer tape narrower on this end because some of that vinyl is overlapping. So let's just... There we go. That's working. Just gently peeling it from underneath the vinyl that's wrapped around again. There we go. Okay, that's a success. Right, now then, moment of truth to take off. Oh, I've torn that one. Oopsie. Ta-da! Okay, so you can actually see the design on that transfer tape where it transferred it, but I'm pretty certain that you can reuse this. So I'm going to put the backing, I think it goes that way up actually, back onto this so that I can use it for another project. Oh, I've got a bubble in it. There we go. Perfect for another project, that piece. I'll just keep that in the box with the roll, so if there's something that size I can use that again. But look how cool that looks. Oh my goodness. That is so cool. If I take a piece of paper, I might be able to put this inside and you'll be able to see it a bit better. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that cool? Look at the fine detail. That is so cool. And the fact that you have that transfer tape so you can create your design on your laptop or your computer and then just transfer it all in one go rather than having to cut out, like, you know, 20 different monstera leaves and then add them all individually. You can just do it all as one design. That just looks so cool. Oh, I love that. I'm so pleased with that project. That turned out so well. So I hope you enjoyed this CRaFTi video showing you the LOKLiK crafter cutting machine and accessories bundle, and I think I will actually just show cutting the heat transfer vinyl in the next video when I show off the LOKLiK mini heat press. So if you want to see how to cut the heat transfer vinyl, I'm going to put it all in that video because I think it makes more sense to show how you flip the image and everything to use it with something that requires a heat source to apply it to a garment or a project. But I am so impressed with that. So impressed with that. That is just brilliant. I cannot wait to get some more colours of vinyl and do some more bottle designs or mug designs as well. But that is just so cool. I'm going to really enjoy drinking out of my bottle of water now because I've got gorgeous pattern on it rather than hearts falling off of it. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I've had so much fun this morning playing with that. And I cannot believe how good this tool is that you get with the Crafters bundle, if you get the bundle with it. And like, I'm just shocked really at how brilliant this machine is. Really, really cool. And 10 minutes to cut that entire design with those really fine details, and that's the first time it's ever been used, and I got it to cut all of those really fine delicate details, and it did it absolutely perfectly. And these images are all free, they're all on there, and all I did was write the word water in this really cool font that has really thick and thin lines on it, and look how well it cut tiny thin letters. Brilliant. Absolutely love it. So really hope you enjoyed this video. Keep your eyes peeled for the one that's going to be on the mini heat press. It might be the day after this one, it might be the week after this one. I'm not sure when I'm going to put them out compared to each other. But yeah, really, really hope you enjoyed this video. And I'll leave any links below in case you want to get hold of the cutting machine. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye!